Good morning, guys. I'm a call recovery coach at Cat Recovery Center. Today is our coffee conversation meeting, and I have an article here. It says, "Why is change important in recovery?" So we'll hop into it. Researchers have concluded that drug addicts and alcoholics need to make changes in their lifestyle, often dramatic dramatic in order to succeed in recovery. Why is change important in recovery? Living in the same place, seeing the same people, and doing the same things as you were when you're the addiction rule can be what brings about relapse. White Sands Addiction Treatment Center is Tampa, Florida can help. This is the article, I guess, from Tampa, Florida, can help you with the first changes you need to make, which and detoxification and rehab. So why is change important in recovery? Doing the same things that led to your addiction places a risk on your goal on long-term recovery. Major lifestyle changes help establish new habit patterns, reduce the chances of falling back into the old routine. Your brain tries to recreate the high you felt when it associates something with substance abuse. Some things can be your environment, activities, or people. So we talk about recovery as people, places, and things. Um, I can't be around the same people that I used to use with. I can't be around the same environment that I used to use because it's just not good for my recovery. Why would I put myself back in the situations or around the same people that I used to use drugs and alcohol with? And you're putting yourself in ways harm, And when I first got in recovery, like I didn't leave, walk around because I didn't have my license for one, but like I didn't walk around the streets because usually when I walked around the streets, I was copping, right? I was doing stuff that I was up to no good, right? So people and places and things is very important in recovery. All right. So environment, hanging out in the same old places such as a pool, hall, nightclub, or restaurant can be environmental triggers. There may be some triggers in your home which can be challenging for the recovering substance abuser. Yeah, we come, especially I did when I was younger, you come by product of my environment. Some family members used, you know, and drank alcohol, and I thought that was okay. So long and behold, I didn't know my life was going to take to the turn of the worst. We usually as addicts, become product of our environment. So who we associate with ourselves, places we hang out, you know, especially in recovery. I don't go to the bars, not, just to say not because I want to drink or not want to drink. It's like the whole atmosphere of it. I don't want to be around people that's drinking and they end up getting drunk and conflict happens, chaos breaks out. I just don't put myself around those situations. So activities. If you found you use drugs or alcohol during or after certain activities, such as going to the pool hall, playing cards, or tailgate parties, you need to remove these things from your life. Nothing is more important than your recovery. And I agree with it, like activities. For me, and I think many others, like everything revolved around drugs and alcohol. So like any activity I was using, I was always high. So um, you have to eliminate yourself in recovery to new activities. I'm not going to put myself in things like it talks about the pool hall, card games and stuff like that. There's things we can still do in recovery, but there's some things that we can't do. I have to be very aware of my surroundings and what the recovery process has taught me, what I can do and what I can't do, and what things I allow in my life and then things I don't allow in my life. I be more well aware of self and what my do's and nots I can't, what I do and I can't do, right? And that's one thing recovery has taught me about myself. People, friends who drink, abuse drugs, or engage in activities that are triggers for you need to be avoided until you are much stronger. If there are people who anger you, even if they are family, try not to avoid being alone with them. Stay away from old friends who use drugs or drink even when they are sober. Conversations they have with you can be triggers. Yes, certain people can be triggers. Toxic relationships, even like it talks about family members, can anger you, right? I can get angry, even in recovery, I can get frustrated. But that's like some of the triggers, like that can lead you back to using being around people that bring up these negative emotions and feelings. And the recovery process teaches us how to deal with them, um, and stay in the solution, right? Instead of just lashing out or going to use, have better coping skills, right? And better communication skills also. But why would you want to put yourself in in a conversation or in a relationship or whatever the case may be, that's going to frustrate you, right? So it's like you can walk away at any given time, right? You don't have to participate in that kind of stuff, which leads to going back and forth, like yelling, screaming, cussing, whatever the case may be. So you have to eliminate yourself from situations. All right. Coping with change and recovery. Change is stressful under any circumstances, but when you are in recovery, it can seem more difficult. You can learn to cope with change as you see how important it is to your life. And recovery, coping with change and recovery means dealing with some stumbling blocks that may be in your recovery path, but you can push them out of the way with positive thinking. Some of the stumbling blocks you may have to deal with include the following. So before we get to the following, coping with change and recovery. So change can be difficult. That's one thing I feared of is change. I didn't think I could change. I always say I counted myself out before I even tried. And that's thinking. But when you're going through these changes, right? Because it's good. Life's going to change regardless, with my permission or without my permission, right? So I have to basically, go with the flow. Sometimes I might not agree, uh, disagree, but I have to be more, aware of how I'm dealing with the situations in life. And that's what recovery taught me is dealing with people, places, things, and life on life terms better because it goes on with me or without me, right? So I have to be very humble, and be aware how I act and who I want to be. Um, let's see. Fear of the unknown. Yes, that's very, very true for me. When you are facing change, it can be scary and it requires faith to take that big step. So many are unwilling to face their fears and make changes, and unfortunately, they remain trapped in the cycle of addiction. Trusting the changes will support your recovery is vital. Yeah, we were comfortable. I was comfortable in my own chaos, right? I was not willing to change because change was scary for me. Um, I was my life ran by fear, because I was scared who I was without the drugs. I painted this big old picture and this made this mountain of like I have to uh, change people, places, and things for one. I have the court system. I have to pay off and get things taken care of. I have to mend all these relationships. How am I going to do all these things, right? And I was overwhelming myself right out the door, right? I was counting myself out even before I even tried. So I have to take it one day at a time, and it's hard. It's hard to stay in the moment, take it one day at a time. But like until I started to do them things and started to change, things got better. Right? It was uncomfortable. It was scary. Uh, Things I didn't agree with, things I had to cut out of my life. There's a lot of things that go with it, but it's necessary, right? And some of the things that we don't want to do, we have to do to get clean and sober and have a long lasting recovery. Not believing change is necessary. Some addicts don't believe they need to change things to recover. If you fall into this category, you are placing your recovery at risk. Not everything has to change, but the things that trigger cravings must go. Not believing change is necessary. Just my personal experience. I know it had to change, but I wasn't willing. Right? I knew I had a problem, but I didn't care. Right? I did what I wanted to do, and nobody was going to tell me different. Right? So, but the not believing, I didn't believe that I could get clean and sober and stay clean and sober. I always believed I had to have some type of substance to function, right? It's that insanity of like taking drugs and alcohol and thinking I'm going to be okay, right? And there's not possible to me to be completely clean and sober. It's just it might work for you, but not going to work for me. And I didn't even try. I mean, I did, right? Because I went to treatment stuff like that, but I never gave myself a chance after I got out of treatment. I didn't continue on the journey of recovery. I always got clean and got sober and, cleaned up for a while, 20, 30 days, 60 days or whatever. And I went back out and used because I didn't have this belief system of I was worthy of being clean and sober because I was so damaged and I was so lost and confused that I'm not worth me being alive and being productive member of society. It just wasn't in the cards for me. And these are the things I told myself because we are our worst critics. We can beat ourselves down than anybody else can, and until I came to terms with that and start to work on them things, life has got better. It's got a lot way better. So liking the comfortable, liking the comfortable, comfortable. Yeah, liking the comfortable. You may find you don't want to change some things that you find comfortable. Your table and seat at the pool or maybe one of your favorite places to be. But when you are surrounded by drinking friends, it's dangerous. You may want to continue going out with the girls for Friday night wine tasting. You tell yourself you are only going to drink water. Do you really believe that? And like I said earlier, like the recovery process taught me the things I can do and what things I can't do. I'm not going to put myself around, because we all have triggers, we all have things, we all have, it can be cravings or whatever the case may be. Because the days change, right? Today was today, yesterday was yesterday, but like tomorrow, you never know, right? So as addicts, it can, things can arise at any given moment, right? So I'm not going to put myself in any situation that can, can harm me in the long run. So I choose to not be around certain things, around certain people, certain places. And it's very important, people and places, things. Just them three words is crucial because it says, liking the comfortable. I like things I've done before. It was comfortable and I'm doing these things, but in recovery, things got to change. Things that were comfortable ain't so comfortable anymore. So you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, if you get what I'm saying. So you don't like other people deciding your changes. If you're upset that counselors or family members are telling you some things you shouldn't do anymore, your resentment can send you spiraling back into your addiction. So we don't like being told what to do, right? I've learned to not like told what to do because I'm not doing bad things today. I'm not doing anything in a negative, right? It happens and stuff like that, but it's not like on a constant day-to-day basis that people are telling me not what to do, But when I was in active addiction, people would tell me things and I would get upset, I would get resentful, and because they were right. Right? Sometimes we don't like being told the truth. And deciding like the changes for ourselves. Usually, we can spot self-deception, right? We can't see ourselves coming sometimes. Other people see us coming before we do. And when people try to help you, we can get this defensive. And sometimes when we get defensive, that we need to take a look at it and see if we really need to change in certain areas. I can get upset sometimes. People telling me, that's not so nice or whatever the case may be, and more than likely they're right. But I'm like, I spring it back on somebody else. Like, well, you need to change, or you're telling me this, but you're doing that. That kind of stuff. But you change. You must. It's got to happen to stay clean and sober. And it's just a good feeling. I don't like being who I used to be. Right. I don't like that person. Right. So I have to do something different to keep what I have. And change is an ongoing process. Since I've been in recovery, I've seen my life change for the better. So I continue to change because I know I can do my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my support system, my friends, my family. So I have all this stuff and all this support that, if I need help and don't think I can in any situation, that I have, people to fall back on, so to give me that push, give me that support, and let me know when I need to look at some things, so I do have to change. So this last part right here says dealing with change in recovery. Dealing with change in recovery can be difficult. Attending support groups as well as individuals counseling sessions and provide you with the tools you need to get through the temptation, stresses, and changes. Don't try to do it on your own. That last little part right here, don't try to do it on your own. It's very, very important. Like I try to, I always wanted to do things on my own, right? I wasn't listening to nobody. I wasn't listening to family. I wasn't listening to friends. I wasn't listening to judge, cops, nobody, right? So what happens is when we try to run off our own juice and on self-will, I get myself in sticky situations, right? So I have to, take direction, right? I have to sit and listen, and let myself know that I don't know everything and I can't do it on my own. And like today in recovery, I don't want to do it alone and I can't. I've learned I need help on a day-to-day basis, right? I have to, right? That's why I have friends, coworkers, I have sponsors, I have, people in my meetings I go to, right? I need help on a day-to-day basis. And what recovery has taught me is people that help me, now I can give back to help others, so it's like an ongoing process of one act helping another, and it talks about support groups. So it talks about temptations, stresses, and changes. We all need this. We need help. Not just in recovery. I always say in life general, we all need help. We all need support, and we all need some direction. So I like this. It's a good wise change, important in recovery, and that was the end of it. And this article was by whitesandtreatment.com. So this is whitesandstreatment.com. So wise change, important in recovery. And my name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach here at Cat Recovery Center. You guys are more than welcome to come in. Until next time, see you guys later.